Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zolotech, and this past week we had a lot of news since, well, I haven't made a news video in a couple weeks due to the release of iOS 16.3 last Monday. So this week we have news about the iPhone 15 Pro, a new foldable iPad that could be coming later on, Apple's Reality Pro headset, iOS 17, and much more. This is your news update for the week of January 30th, 2023. Now, Apple is making AirPods components in India, according to Bloomburg. So they're making the components there and then shipping them to China and Vietnam for assembly. So they're making the plastic, apparently, and Apple continues to diversify its supply chain and has moved much of its production out of China and will continue to do so, it looks like, in the future. Now, on February 13th, App Store prices are going up in certain areas in the world. So in the UK and some other countries, the UK, Colombia, Egypt, Hungary, Nigeria, Norway, South Africa, and this is all due to foreign exchange rates and taxes, so you may see some price increases there. Additionally, Ireland, Luxembourg, Singapore, and Zimbabwe will get slight updates to proceeds, but that's more due to local VAT taxes or VAT taxes in your area, so you might see some adjustment there as well. Apple recently adjusted the trade-in values of iPhones this past week, with them dropping the prices down by up to $80 where you would have gotten that before. However, Mac values have actually gone up depending on which Mac you have, so they're adjusting them based on the current economy. Now, to go along with that, Apple started selling refurbished iPhone 13 mini, 13 Pro, and 13 Pro Max in the UK, Italy, Spain, and Germany. The USA should be next and will be available in the refurbished store on their website. Apple updated their support website with a much-needed refresh that's much easier and more modern. So as you can see here, you've got all of the different Apple products, and then you've got different issues such as forgot Apple ID or password, Apple repair, or billing and subscriptions. You can search for more topics, and if you go into a topic such as iPhone, you can select specific things such as forgot passcode, service and repair, find my, and help charging, and get more information about that. So it will help you out a little bit easier, it looks a little bit better, and it's been redesigned. Now, in many of my videos, you may have seen this new case in the background, and this is a Casecu case. Casecu has sponsored this video today, and this is the Casecu Magic Stand. It comes in clear, blue, deep purple, space black, and there are new clear purple and clear black cases too. It's a protective case that adds grip and looks pretty great. It has a raised bezel around the screen and the camera, but it also has a hidden stand built in. The stand allows for a 40 to 100 degree angle and has a magnet in the ring of the stand that supports MagSafe accessories and charging. You can use the code Zolotech for 10% off, and I'll link them in the description if you want to check them out. Now, iPhone's crash detection continues to stay in the news. This time, there are reports that in Japan, it's making 100 false claims a month to Japanese Alps services. This is according to the local fire department of the Kita Alps, Nagano area. So apparently it's triggering that, setting off false alerts that there's actually an emergency. So Apple recently changed this. If we go to Emergency SOS, they recently changed how you do this by having you hold the power sleep wake button and one of the volume buttons to sort of limit some of this accidental triggering of it. However, it continues to be triggered. Maybe people jumping over jumps or other things, but hopefully this will be updated soon. However, on a positive note, Dwight Yoakam, who is a senior manager with the British Columbia Search and Rescue Team, has said in short that Emergency SOS is a game changer for those without cell signal or a way to reach someone for help, and could have recently very well saved the lives of some recently rescued people. So where you can't get connectivity, you have no Wi-Fi or cell signal, you can use the Emergency SOS with satellite connectivity. So it's great to see that's actually working as is intended, and many people are benefiting from that, and hopefully it's saving some lives as well. iPhone shipments were down 14.9% year over year, in the largest drop ever seen according to IDC, who studies the sale of smartphones. All of the other large manufacturers were also down as well, Samsung and others. So it's a trend as the economy actually slows a little bit. People are just spending less on phones. That makes a lot of sense, but it looks like it's affected just about everyone at this point. Now, weekly deals, I'll link them in the description. Of course, there's continued deals on things such as AirPods Pro 2, AirPods Max, and we're also starting to see AirPods Max out of stock online, hinting that we could get an update soon with different colors. Whether or not there's significant updates to the overall design is hard to say, but it looks like we should have some updates with that soon. But we do have some deals on things such as AirPods, the latest MacBooks, and more, where they've actually taken off some money. Apple has a sale on their store, on the Amazon side of their store, where they're actually offering directly there with some discounts as opposed to offering those on their regular Apple store. The new second generation HomePod launches this week. Apple announced it couple weeks ago, and it's available starting February 3rd. So you'll be able to pick it up in store, and as soon as I can get my hands on it, I'll have an unboxing and first look. We'll take a listen, see what it's like, and compare it with the first generation. But it's available on February 3rd. Also, something that's probably coming out this week is iOS 16.4 Beta 1. Typically, after a major release, such as iOS 16.3, we'll have another beta release as Apple tests future versions. So 16.4 should be coming out. It could be as soon as today, probably tomorrow or Wednesday, and then we'll have that released to developers and then public beta testers. What's actually going to be included, we don't know, but there are some future features we're waiting for I'll talk about in a moment. Also, speaking about future updates, iOS 17, we should see the first glimpse of that in June. And both MacRumors and 9to5Mac have started to see iOS 17 users in their website statistics. So they're seeing 16.4 and 17. And there's a lot of rumors going around recently that quite a few people have debunked at this point. So there's a few things we're not expecting as big of an update, but there is some rumors about it that apparently are not going to be true according to Mark Gurman. So that's something that we'll probably see more about very soon as some of the leaks start to come out. We are still waiting for a few things we know for sure are actually releasing, such as the updated CarPlay experience for many vehicles, web push notifications, Apple Music Classical, Apple Pay Later, Apple Card Savings Account, and a new home app architecture. And that's something that Apple released and then sort of pulled back on. So the home architecture could be coming back very soon, as it was spotted in the code of iOS 16.3. Apple could push this over the air, or it could be coming out with 16.4. We just don't know, but it looks like that's something that's going to be releasing fairly soon. So it looks like they've probably fixed the issues they had, and hopefully that releases soon. Now, as far as leaks and rumors, well, iPhone 15 leaks from Shrimp Apple Pro are stating that the upcoming phone will have ultra-thin curved bezels. However, the display will remain flat. So just the bezel itself would be super thin and curved over, where the display remains flat with a dynamic island. Also, a leaker by the name of Unknown21 on Twitter has confirmed that Wi-Fi 6E will be included in the iPhone 15 Pro model, but not the standard models. This would point at Apple again keeping the previous year chips in the non-Pro models with the A16 Bionic, where A17 Bionic would get the updates. And that seems to be a trend we're going to have for the future, like we had this year with the 14s. So the A15 stays in the non-Pro models. So that's something that will differentiate them more, as there's less and less to upgrade, but it looks like that's what we're going to have. Apple has been working on its own Wi-Fi chip for some time, and apparently it's been put on hold for a while, according to Ming-Chi Kuo. However, Apple is working on combining that chip into a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip. For now, though, the chipset will go to Broadcom, where they'll actually manufacture the Wi-Fi part of that for Apple. So that's something that maybe we'll see in the future. There's a lot of things they have to work around, and they'll need to make improvements compared to the people who already manufacture those chips for Apple. iPad mini is said to be getting a refresh next year in early 2024, according to Ming-Chi Kuo. This will supposedly get a spec bump. I don't know if it will get a redesign, as it's quite modern. It has the squared off design with the little charging pad for the Apple Pencil 2nd generation, and it's basically got everything you would want with USB-C included. So all of those things are already here with the Mini. It will probably just get bumped up maybe to an M2 processor or something along those lines. Also, along with an update to the iPad mini, Ming-Chi Kuo is saying to expect a foldable iPad in 2024. That will be Apple's first foldable, it looks like, where it would have a folding iPad with a carbon fiber kickstand in the back. So that's something that was a bit of a surprise to hear in the news, but it seems like it could be true. We know Apple's working on some sort of foldable, including MacBooks and phones, so we could see that with the iPad. And it makes sense for an iPad to maybe be a little bit more portable and maybe fold into the size of an iPad mini when you're not using it. So that makes a lot of sense. We could see that as soon as 2024. There's been a lot of news about Apple's AR/VR headset, or what Mark Gurman calls Reality Pro, this week. And in a big release from Mark Gurman this past weekend, he said that the first headset should be ready to be shown soon. According to Gurman, the headset has full eye and hand and gesture control with a 3D version of iOS. You would control it by pinching your thumb and finger together to select something. We've kind of seen that before with Oculus. That would allow you to select, and it would track all of that and track where you're looking as well. It's also said to have full FaceTime that renders out what you're actually seeing as far as the person goes. So it would render out myself and the person I'm speaking with in full 3D so you could see what they look like. Not like what Meta is doing with Oculus, but rather in a realistic fashion. However, with a larger group chat, that would change due to processing power. You could also use it as an external Mac display if you wanted to have a giant display in front of you. It's also said to have an external battery designed to fit in your pocket, which would provide about 2 hours of use. That's something I'm not real crazy about, but apparently it's the size of 2 iPhone 14 Pro Maxes combined, where it would power the overall headset. Oculus does this by putting it on the back of the headset, but again, that's added weight. Batteries are kind of heavy, so that's something that we could see in the future very, very soon. According to Wayne Ma at The Information, the new headset will allow developers and users to create augmented reality apps using Siri. According to the report, it would be similar to building in VR along the likes of Minecraft and Roblox. So that would allow you to maybe say, show me an object in a different space, and it could build that for you, and then you would have less to code. You wouldn't need to code. You could just tell it what you want to see, and hopefully it will work. That would mean we need some big advances to Siri, though, for understanding. Now, we are getting a new HomePod soon, but according to Mark Gurman, Apple is not working on a HomePod Mini 2 right now. That makes a lot of sense. It kind of does what we want. It functions as you would expect, and is an assistant, also a music player, and kind of does everything you would want it to. Maybe they're waiting to see how the HomePod 2 comes along and how that does, but at this point it looks like this is the design for the future, and until there's something significant, they won't need to redesign it. Now, we're still waiting for Mac Pro with Apple Silicon, and it has yet to be shown. Apple missed their 2-year deadline to transition all of their Macs over to Apple Silicon, and many are concerned as the chipset does not allow for much expansion. You can't expand the memory, and this would only leave room for expandable storage and add-on cards, and is supposedly going to look like the current Mac Pro. So what specifically Apple could offer other than what the Mac Studio offers is hard to say. An M2 Ultra isn't a reason to really jump up to a Mac Pro when you can have that in a studio. So a lot of people are a little bit leery, including myself, as to what Apple could offer in a new Mac Pro. And so lots of information this past week about new Macs, iPads, iPhones, and more. I can't wait to see what Apple has for this headset. I'm still a little bit skeptical that it's going to be something that I'd want to use regularly, but let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. If you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, of course, it will be linked in the description as it always is. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.